Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, also brought to you by Illumnifically, think tank of the future. The sweet songs by Serena Wagner, based on the life of King David, now on Amazon. Also, Hayatan Music, check out our latest at hayatanmusic.com. He's back by popular demand once again, the multi-talented Dublin-born singer, songwriter, and also an author of Road Tales. He's the owner of Kusha Deep Music with a number of followers in social media. We talked about last Blood and Treasure, No Time for Tears. Also did Serfs and Kings, Rise Like the Sun, Ballads for the Downtrodden, Soul Hours, and more. Well, he's got a cure for jealousy. Boy, what is it? We'll find out. Live, ladies and gentlemen, the Plus Studio somewhere in the UK. The multi-talented Dublin-born singer, songwriter, author of Road Tales and Rise Like the Sun. He's part of Surf and Kings, and he's got the cure for jealousy. Ladies and gentlemen, back by demand, the multi-talented Dar Ra. Dar Ra, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Oh man, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to touch base with you, my friend. You know what I mean? So I'm absolutely honored to be a part of your show today.
Oh, it's just great. And this is like the what, third, fourth time I had you on. It's like I lost track after a while. So.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's just nice to kind of check in and check out. Otherwise you kind of, a lot of time builds up, a lot of waves kind of roll, and there comes a time when you've just got to drop in and say, Mike, I've got some stuff happening. I've got to tell you people.
There you go. And I think you've got that as well, too. And you've got the Cure for Jealousy, a new album coming out soon. And let's, before we talk about that, I think we had you on with Blood and Treasure featuring No Time for Tears. And give us an update on some of the music that you've had on before.
That was. I mean, obviously, that was. We did Ballads for the Downtrodden, which was an album of cool, laid-back ballad type tracks that I'd had out over the last few years, and I just put a comp album together and put that out. And I was quite prolific. I think when we talked at that period of time, it was probably about 21, 22. And I was banging out quite a lot of stuff. I did that album, and I did Kings and Serfs, which is again another interesting thing that I did for a film, which was about in London. We have the Pearly Kings and Queens, and I did a couple of tracks for a film about a Pearly King, one of the original Pearly Kings. They're kind of like the old you'd know it from Dick Van Dyke. You know what I mean? God bless your cock and all that.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's right.
you know what I'm saying? So I did a couple of tracks for a film about one of the original Pearly Kings of King's Cross, and that was on Kings and Serfs. And then I put out another two comps as well, like Majestic Retrospectives 1 and 2, which was all my dance stuff that I had out since the 90s. Featured Reach Out, and featured various other different records that I'd had sort of coming through on a dance tip. Rachel Brown, who I did a track with, Pleasure Zone. She was with Faithless, big sort of UK kind of kind of dance EDM kind of crew. Massive over here, massive in Europe. So happy days, man. Do you know what I mean? And I've got new bits and pieces coming through. I've been revamping a couple of tracks as well, and I've been lucky enough to hook up with a guy called Paul Waller, who's just incredible, a UK producer. He's produced, so many different UK acts, from Misha Paris to Lisa Stansfield. More recently he did Eric Clapton and BB King's Riding with the King. Those are sort of artists you'd probably be more kind of aware of. He obviously worked with people like Trevor Horn, who did Frankie Goes to Hollywood and all those kind
Oh,
of.
yeah, I remember Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah, yeah. So like kind of like real, such a maverick kind of like UK monster producer, and I was just really, look, I'm going to give Mark Zuckerberg a bit of a kind of big up here, because actually Facebook has been, people kind of get down on sort of Mark's tip a little bit, but Facebook brings a lot of people together, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's a positive, it's got a positive aspect to it. I think a lot of people are kind of like, as I say, a bit too down on his kind of his his um his views and his kind of tip, and I think, particularly Facebook. I haven't really got into the whole meta mask kind of thing. I'm sure that's going to be amazing when that comes through, but for different reasons. And I think, you can talk about tech and where, the good and the bad of it all, but I think the fact that Facebook brings people together, and I'd sort of like seen a couple of posts by an engineer, music engineer called Chris Woods, and he was talking to Paul, and I just went, "Oh my God, Paul! I hadn't spoken to him since I was at Christmas, and that was way back in the sort of early 90s when I was like a mere 19, 20-year-old kid, you know what I mean? And I was
Hmm.
just learning ropes, and he was just like a major mentor, like a dude that I really, really looked up to. And as I say, sort of like I was really lucky sort of about 6 or 7 months ago just to hook back up with him via Facebook. And then I just sort of cheekily sort of said to him, do you know, like, because I played him a couple of things and he was like, oh, you know, I really like it, but I think the mix could be slightly tougher. And I was like, oh, you've just really killed me, man. No, I didn't. I said, you know, I was like, I said, and I just cheekily sort of, because I'm thinking, I can't say too much about the financial side of things, but, I just thought it was going to be astronomical to hire a guy as hot as that. And we've come up with a little vibe, and I've been able to sort of throw some cool stuff his way, and he's been sort of doing some co-production for me. And the first track he did was Cure for Jealousy. And we've just kind of really funked it right out and got a real soulful kind of energy about it. Just shot a video for it in a cool little place in the UK. Gone for that kind of old classic vaudeville kind of feel about it. It's a beautiful little venue like the Hackney Empire. And so yeah, so that's the first single, kind of like rocking and rolling, and we're sort of about a quarter of a way into a new album, and it's kind of happening kind of sort of just organically, really. So yeah, I've
Hmm.
got a Whiskey and Honey that he's done as well. And the classic is the fact that we started off with a song called Reach Out, which, that's how I got signed. That's how I kind of got into the game on that record. I was working with another guy and we put out a white label, and we got picked up by a few major record companies at the time. And we ended up, we were at Big Life. Big Life was run by Jazz Summers, and Jazz was like responsible for breaking Wham in China.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I remember that. Uh-huh.
yeah, and anyway, so he was working with Paul Waller, and Paul and Jazz put Paul and me together, and then I had a sort of just period of time just learning, and in amazing studios in London like Unit One in Camden Town, and Master Rock and Livingston, and all these, a Manfred Mann studio down in the Old Kent Road. I
Hmm.
met Manfred Mann, Do a Diddy and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I met all those guys, and so it was a really good time for me, sort of like getting into the business and just finding out, how it all worked, and just working with some incredible people that actually taught me a
Hmm.
lot. He's always just been in my kind of like my subconscious is just like this absolute legendary guy. And as I say, I'm really lucky to be working with him again. And so I said to him, like, we've been doing this WhatsApp, like 2 in the morning, like WhatsApping. Oh man, what happened to him? And who's he hanging with? And, oh my God, is he running that? And, oh my God, da, da, da. And you produced that. And it's like, all this stuff that he's telling me he's produced, like he did Björk's album. And, it just kind of blows my mind. And I said to him, man, wouldn't it be funny if we did another version like 20 odd 5 years later of Reach Out? Because this is a track I'd had this hit with. And we goes, yeah, man, it'd be cool. So I sort of got a vibe together. I had a a dude from Brazil play the drums on it, and just got the groove together. And I wanted it to be a lot more soulful than sort of like the out and out house
Oh
kind of.
yeah. You mentioned something about having like a new let music project. We'll talk more about that. You got a radio show, getting into comedy and all that. A bit more Cure for Jealousy with Draw Birdie in just 1 minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. It's powered by SonicWeb Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor, The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, one target, where truth is illusion and those that love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews, and Evil Evidence enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forge Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Illumnithically, think tank of the future, bringing scientists and engineers together from all over the world, creating a method to construct a renewable generator. This unique product operates on a closed loop system, generating more energy internally than it needs to function. The extra electricity can be used to run everything from homes, power grids, phones, laptops. The power source is renewable, highly scalable, and most importantly, self-regenerating. Visit facebook.com for more at facebook.com/Illumnitical. That's ELLUMENIPTICAL today. Also, Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Sweet Summits by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. The Sweet Summits gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms he wrote and his time as a shepherd where it started and his complicated yet turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also brought to you by Hi-10 Music, featuring the smash hit Baby Come Back. New music coming soon. Check it out. Hi10music.com. Also, take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device at themikewagnershow.com. 40 podcast platforms, 100 countries. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. If you're interested, shoot me an email to the Mike Wagner Show at gmail.com. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. Also coming is Missing 2 at double the fun, double the action on Amazon. And also support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the multi-talented Dublin-born singer, songwriter, and the author of Road Tales, Dar Ra here on the Mike Wagner Show. And I forgot to tell you, how's that book coming so far, by the way? I wasn't sure if I asked you about that.
Yeah, no, it's been going good, man. It's a kind of I mean, it was released a couple of years ago, so it's a slow burn. But you know, obviously, every time I jump on a show like this, the sales start to kind of go up in a nice trajectory. So it's always
we got to show off your book more often. Just what I do. Bring your book, show it off like this. Bring a book and show it off. Bring your book, show it off. That's all you have to do. I mean, nobody's going to penalize you for it. Facebook's not going to come after you and censor it. Just show it and show it proudly. That's my marketing tip of the day, guys. Show it proudly.
Exactly. And I've got a copy, but not in this room, but it is a great
that's perfectly okay. Next time we'll have you on, we'll talk more about that. And of course, being on the road and everything else. Go ahead.
You can find that book basically on Amazon as well. It's been given a 5-star kind of review on Goodreads. It's called Road Tales. It's basically about amazing people I met while I was on the road. From Aboriginal kind of guys who have had cathartic kind of like changes in their world where they've been on one track and kind of gone on another one. And I met people down in Guatemala as well who were kind of like fighting for sort of land rights down there. But every story basically is an archetype. So I'm looking at kind of like, what is kind of the power of prayer, power of faith, and for instance, like the Aboriginal guy I met, amazing guy up in northern Queensland, and he'd been part of the stolen generation, and they were basically taken away from their tribes and put in Christian reservations. And obviously, so they had a mix of tribal, but this Christianity vibe going on. But anyway, he used to play mandolin in a church, and it was his thing. He loved doing that, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And anyway, but he also worked in a sheet metal factory. And one day he was cutting sheet metal, and this sheet of metal came down and cut his hand clean off, man.
Oh,
yeah. And anyway, they managed to get him to hospital. I think they ice packed it all up and managed to get him, into hospital. And they sewed it back on, but they said, "Look, man, it's never really going to work again. It will just be aesthetic." And he said that he used the power of prayer and the power of faith. And he said within 18 months, he actually regained the use of his hand again. And he said that he walked back into church one Sunday with his mandolin, and he asked to play, and everyone was like, "Mate, you can't play. Your hand's fucked. Oh, sorry, your hand's not working properly." And he basically said, "No, just give me a chance. Like, please, just let me play." And he got it out of the box, and he said he got into the area where he'd normally play in church, and he just played, and he said he played like an angel. And so
nice.
yeah, so I just thought, wow, that's just too much of a story. I kept meeting people that all had these incredible stories. And I thought, you know what, these are ordinary people telling extraordinary tales. And I just thought, when I got back, I had about 15 or 16 different people that I met that
Oh,
all had
wow.
stories like that. And I just came back to England, and then I just thought, you know what, I've got to write that book eventually, and that is it. So there's I think there's 16 chapters of different archetypes. There's a guy I met down in Guatemala who was fighting for you know, indigenous land rights, and you know, was kind of putting himself into a lot of danger doing that. And I just thought, what is altruism? Why do people step out of their kind of their comfort zone to help other people? So it's a kind of, you know, there's other people, there's other vibes. Like as an artist I met in Australia who helped a girl basically speak again after she didn't speak from a trauma for like 5 years, and he
Oh my
managed to
goodness.
speaking again, like literally by using art. So there's just incredible people in the world that don't really get their stories told. And I just thought, you know, so that's what Road Tales is about. It's a little bit of inspiration when you're feeling that you can't, you can see somebody that just thought they could, and they moved on, you know, and they've achieved kind of amazing things where, you know, you know, most people might have thought it was you know, you couldn't do it, it was an impossibility, but other people have shown that you can, and that's how you break through the mountain, right?
Mhm. You got that right. You broke some mountains already too, creating a new Latin music project with a Mexican journalist, and you also wrote to make the first UK Mexican collaboration. How do you like that?
Well, this is an interesting little thing that I'm kind of working on with a Mexican journalist, amazing lady, and we basically just she was doing she's actually really interesting. She's doing she was working on the campaign for Robert Kennedy recently as well, so she's been working on that sort of side of things. And you know, she played me some music that she was like working on. I just thought that would be interesting. What if we just did a sort of a, you know, a collaboration, and I just revamped the stuff that she was doing with a kind of an English kind of angle on the vocal lines, and so we're just handing stuff back at the moment, back and forth, and just vibing out on that. But I kind of like that whole collab sort of thing across the globe. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I record now is like international, like, you know, as I say, I've recorded with drum like musicians in America. I've had horn players in the States play on stuff. I've had people down in Brazil play on stuff. You know, we've had people out in Turkey mastering things, and you know, various other musicians like around the world basically playing stuff. And I just like that. That's the beauty of the internet, is the fact that you can actually bring to people. You know, you can make these incredible kind of records, but with people that you've never met before. So yeah, I'm quite. You know, I think the internet, when it's used wisely, is an amazing thing.
And
It
and I
really.
and I and I can relate to that as well too. When I first started with voiceovers and everything like that, and getting on radio shows and everything like that, I had a couple of shows that end up in London, and I had better reception, just as good or better than I did in the States. And I realized that I have broken a new ground, and having you on the show also broke further ground as well. And of course, you know, speaking of radio shows, and you've been on quite a number yourself, and you also added one recently in the Welsh region.
Yeah, I'm working with Celtica Radio. That's my kind of you know, I've got a soft spot for the Welsh. You know, we're looking to kind of head down there at some point soon. You know, and go and live in the Welsh mountains for a little while. I think it'd be inspirational. But
Mhm.
I work for a radio station called Celtica Radio, which is run by the amazing Bill Everett. And you know, they put together a sort of monthly kind of podcast which goes out across Wales and across the world. And you know, again, it's just fun to do, you know, to bang some tunes down and stuff, and you know, and then they just get on with it. Really, to be honest with you, I don't have a massive amount to do other than just kind of like do some vocals, voiceovers for them, and just add a few songs here, there, and everywhere. But you know, the Welsh are really cool. They're the salt of the earth, man. I mean, if you've ever met a Welshman, you know, you'll always have a good drink and a good laugh. You know.
I think I'm ready for one right now, to be honest with you. It's like,
Yeah. You know, I mean, the Yanks are like that as well. They're pretty cool. You know what I mean? You know, when you meet the Americans and stuff on tour, I've got some amazing American friends as well that I've met over the years, and you know, they're all cool. They're all cool. You know what I'm saying? It's
you
just
got that
it's.
right. And plus, it's like, you know, music, authors, and just about everything under the sun. You're also venturing into comedy as well.
Well, I've been kind of asked to do a bit of, to host a comedy TV channel called the UK Comedy Channel. Where that's it's kind of me just dropping in. But actually, I'll tell you, I've been working with a guy called Adrian Dougherty, who is a really clever comic. He's like he's a proper London Cockney boy, but he's just funny guy, and he runs this comedy channel. And he was in the Cure for Jealousy video. If you check it out, it's actually on YouTube that we've just shot recently, and he does a cameo role in it. And he's just that very sort of, again, to an American, it's probably very Dick Van Dyke, but it's kind of just funny. He's just a funny guy, and he comes out, and it's the whole theme is about, it's the theme about that whole is about, when people step in on things that you love, it just triggers that feeling inside of like it's panic, isn't it, and anxiety, and like, oh no. And that's the so and I'm just asking, is there a cure for jealousy, man? Because when it kicks in, it's a hard thing to deal with, right?
Mhm. That's exactly it too. And of course, you're not sitting still and everything else. It's like 3, 4 projects. It seems like you're never happy with it. And of course, there is word, and of course, internet's always right, internet's true, and everything. That from what I understand, you're going to be on tour next year.
Well, yeah, we're talking about doing a bit of a tour. I mean, I've got again sort of a lot of people out in the States going, when are you going to come to Virginia? When are you going to come to Florida? When are you going to come to sort of New York? And and it's they've been saying that for a while. So I think it'd be nice to just come out and just do a very low key, some low key gigs and just see how we go down. No mate, no, I'm not going to bring out 5 juggernaut trucks with me. Do you know what I mean? Come out low key, grab a couple of musicians and get out and do some shows, and just kick some ass, have a good time. That's what we want to do. We want to bring the love to the party, man. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. You got that right. Or just bring a guitar, an amp, a 3, 5 piece drum kit, or maybe just rent one for the day, a bass or something. And hey, you got yourself a really cheap system. Sound great.
Yeah, I mean there are clever, there's ways that you can tour now which aren't going to cost an arm and a leg, and as I say, I can come out and do sort of like a PA tour with the book and and do sort of Q&As, read from that, and also do live stuff as well as acoustic stuff as well. So there's quite a lot of scope. It wouldn't cost a fortune to come out and bash it out, and believe you me, like me just on my own with a mic and a track, I can smash the place to pieces. I just did a festival just up from here just on my own. And I was on supporting a couple of bands, man, and I totally ripped the joint apart. The joint was just humming, dude. So I know
Nice, nice.
I can pull it off. I don't play a lot live because I'm what they call a studio rat, dude. Yeah, I live in studios, and that's my thing. I'm writing and producing, so but when I'm getting asked all the time to come out and do this, that, and the other, I think at some point you've just got to go, yeah, look, I'll do it. So
Right, exactly it. And where can we find Cure for Jealousy and all your works at?
right, so you can find me on YouTube if you search dar.ra Dara Cure for Jealousy, or go to Kusha Deep at YouTube /Kusha Deep 7, or find me on any of the social media kind of platforms as dar.ra, or Kusha Deep Records. If you go on a Google search, you'll find me. I'm all over it. I'm all over it like a rash, dude. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I call myself a rash, but I wouldn't say virus as of yet, but it's just
Yeah.
a wave all over. Hey, amazing Dar Ra Brady with Cure for Jealousy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And just one more thing. What else can you expect me in 2024 and going to 2025? And knowing you, it could be 2026.
Well, you know what? We're doing a cheeky album at the moment, me and Paul. So I'm going to be working on that. We're sort of we're moving as well, so there's going to be a bit of an upheave, but while we're doing that. But yeah, as I say, just with a little tour and get this album out, and just I'll probably look back at some of the older stuff that I've done and maybe look at doing a little bit of an update of some of those tunes as well. So lots and lots and lots of cool music coming through. I'm also doing some music workshops as well in brain trauma units. So music for healing as well is something else I would love to do. And again, if I come out to the States, it's something I'd like to do. I'd like do some kind of gigs in clubs, but also go into acute areas and actually help do some shows for people in you know, in places that they can't get out, you know, like whether it be, you know, acute brain injuries or dementia. We could just go out and do some things like that, that not other artists would normally do, right? So I've been doing that over here and mixing NLP with that, which is like neuro-linguistic programming, which is using kind of like language and visualizations to kind of get people into a different sort of like hemisphere in the brain,
Oh,
and then bring
wow. Okay.
and then bringing music in with that as well, and having, so I've been having some really good results doing that, and just, you know, getting cognitive movement and also body movement as well going as well with the music. So that's something that I would like to do, and I would definitely, if I come out to America, definitely like to go into those kind of acute units and do some shows for those guys and see if we can put some smiles on people's faces, man. Do you know what I mean?
And you do a great job of it as well. We're with the multi-talented Dar Ra Brady of Cure for Jealousy here on the Mike Winter Show. Dar Ra, it's always a pleasure to have you on. A big thank you again. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch, and always welcome back. And once again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your music?
Right, cool. Yeah, so all the social media kind of handles, just search for me on Google. If you want to find the books, they're under my full name, which is Dara, Darragh, J Brady, Brady. Road Tales and the Night That Jimmy Died, they're on Amazon. And again, you know, if you want to find me sort of music wise, it's dar.ra, that's my AKA. And man, it's all over the internet. Although I will be, yeah, actually, funny enough, we are, so yeah, I'm going to be running stuff off Bandcamp. I'm also, so I'm actually going to be releasing stuff off Bandcamp going forward. So yeah, if you find me on Facebook, I'll put my links up for that. So if you want to support and purchase, it won't be going out. I'm moving away a little bit away from the Spotify thing now, do you know what I mean? And just going through Bandcamp. But I'm also working with a company called Loungers TV as well, and that was Simon Cowell's new project. I don't know if you remember Simon Cowell. He was
Oh,
on
yeah,
American.
American Idol and all that. Yes.
So I'm working with their station at the moment, TV station, Loungers TV, and putting all my material there, rather than sort of rely on too much on YouTube sort of side of things. So yeah, I'll be posting some of my videos from Lounges and also all my live stuff when I do live stuff here. I'll be recording that and it'll be going on Loungers TV straight away. So I'll be putting links up for all those sort of things that I'm doing. But yeah, I'm just, yeah, changing the sort of the model a little bit in terms of working with just a very few people rather than big distributors putting stuff out. Because in all honesty, you know, it's a tough gig to get paid, man, from the distribution side of things. So
Right, exactly. And they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And of course, I've had people talk about how it's difficult to break the glass ceiling. We totally understand that.
yeah, so yeah, I think we're just looking at sort of like loyalty from people who are going to support you, and if you can bring them into sort of like setups like, you know, Patreon or Bandcamp, I think that's a better way of kind of getting kind of, you know, a bit of loyalty and actually bringing in a bit more money rather than just kind of putting stuff out, you know, and
Right.
not getting the money back. That's the kind of the deal. You know, books are easier to get paid from. Music's a bit harder.
Hmm.
So yeah, different model going forward, sort of next year. Definitely not going to be putting out stuff. I won't be putting out stuff with Spotify anymore. I'm just going to say that out front. I'm just not, and I'm not going to be putting stuff up exclusively on YouTube going forward either. It will literally be Loungers TV and Bandcamp if you want to support me.
Okay. And we will certainly do that. And what's the website once again?
So you can find, it's www.kushadeep.com, and you can find all the information on there. Or again, just Google search dar.ra and all the info will come up from there. All the interviews that I've done, all the videos come up, and it's all super cool. So get down and have some now because it's all good.
Oh,
Now,
you got that right, baby. You got that right. All right, Dar, very big. Thank you for time. Always great to have you on. Looking forward to him soon. Always keep us up to date.
I
Always
will.
keep in touch. Always looking to have you back. You're welcome anytime, and we definitely wish you all the best in the future. You're welcome back on anytime.
Thank you so much, guys. Peace, love, and bring some love to America, man, through the vibe. Right, we've got to kind of, it's all about the unity now, going past November to bring everyone together and stop all the kind of the crisis kind of vibes that are going down. We are one at the end of the day, and when we come together, we make magic happen.